Hey legends, this game has anime-style cutscenes, an interesting gameplay, and giants. Yes, you heard me right. Giant bosses that you can climb on like Shadow of the Colossus. This is Eternal Strands, a game that was just released on January 28th, so I went in with some giant expectations, and so far, I have to say, it's been an interesting experience. First off, the voice acting is really solid.
What? We're coming to you, Bryn. Follow that up.
The characters deliver their lines pretty well, it was clear and understandable, and it was catchy enough to keep me engaged. The sound effects is pretty okay, but there are times when the sound effects kind of sounds the same as the background music. For example, the sound that this chest emanates kind of sounds like the background music, therefore it's harder to differentiate. One of the coolest things about Eternal Strands is its animation style intro. It's beautifully done and immediately sets the tone of the game. And to be honest, after seeing it, makes me kind of wish that there is an anime adaptation for this game, because I am definitely going to be watching it. So aside from these cutscenes, we also have like conversations that are presented as an illustrated conversations, just like what you see with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Or if you have played gacha games or mobile games, it kind of looks like this. Anyways, during the conversation, the character portraits subtly changes to reflect different kinds of emotions, which definitely adds a nice touch to the dialogue. However, one thing that I've noticed when it comes to these kind of stuff is that armor or whatever cosmetics that you have in the game does not show up in these illustrated conversations. Now let's talk about combat. The game offers a variety of abilities to play with. Right now, I only have two, the Kinesis one and the Ice thing. I'm not sure of the exact name, but anyways, it's clear that there's actually more that you can get. Now, one of the things I really enjoy when it comes to this is the fact that you can combine these kind of powers as well as the physical attacks. That means it's not about like class-based where you can only use specific abilities and powers depending on which you choose. This one, everything is available to you. You can just have to mix and match. For example, I can ice my enemy and then use the kinesis to throw them or throw items at them or freeze them and attack them physically. Either way, it gets the job done. So I'm pretty excited once we've unlocked most of the powers, what we can do and what we can see once we have the full arsenal of our abilities. The camera is also pretty interesting when it comes to combat. It follows you around, making it a little bit more cinematic, especially when you try to dash. But my biggest concern here when it comes to combat is using the lock-on. It's hard to actually see. So hopefully they will allow us to change the color of the crosshair. Even that would be a great change. The interactions between characters are interesting, and their conversations are genuinely enjoyable to listen to. During the illustrated conversations, if you're given the choices for your answers, they present it in such a way like what is in Brian's mind. So it's like you thinking what you're going to say. Anyways, as good as the conversations between the characters are, there are moments where I feel a little bit off. Specifically, one character is referred to using pronouns, so it kind of caught me off guard.
Aurea, it's Lane, by the way.
What's that?
They don't like to be called Lane Frey. I heard you saying it to Bryn earlier. That's the name their parents chose. Lane is the name they chose.
Fair enough. Didn't realise. Thank you for letting me know. Lane, Lane, Lane. Not Lane Free, but Lane.
Thankfully, it's not as like in-your-face thing compared to Dragon Age. Anyways, when talking about characters, the characters still look cool and look likable, especially Aurea. Sadly though, there are no super sexy characters. Now, crafting is a thing in this game, and the crafting system is tied to the materials you gather, which also changes the color of your gear depending on the rarity that you're using or the type of material you are using. But these kind of mechanics makes it quite grindy for players, because you do need to farm a specific number of materials, and at the same time, in order for you to level up this gear, you need to have the exact same materials that you use to craft it. Anyways, the game has definitely room for improvement. Quality of life should be given a priority when it comes to the patches, and I would love to see gear comparison, because as of the moment, we don't have the ability or we don't have the feature to be able to compare what we have have equipped and what we are going to be crafting. Another one is that there should be an option to toggle between manual and autoplay for the dialogue. Currently, you can do that in the settings, but when you are already in the illustrated conversations, you cannot. So as me coming from a gacha game or a mobile game, you can do that on the fly. So I wish we could have that one here as well. Additionally, hopefully we can have a way for us to check the previous dialogue, because if there are moments where you were unable to understand the conversation, you can just go back and try to understand it at your own time. Now, I like the game, definitely. I've only played like a couple of hours, but I can really say that you should try out this game. Now, again, I haven't fully reviewed this game yet, or haven't really touched majority of the main campaign, but I do recommend you trying this game out. There's a lot to explore, and I'm very excited to see what else it has to offer. So if you do like my first impressions for different kinds of games, please do let me know in the comments down below, or you can check out my video over here. If not, you can always check out my other videos over here. By the way, my name is Dark, and I hope that I'll see you again next time.